powered by Riverside FM.
Welcome to another edition of Unconventional Playbook. Please hit that like and subscribe button to continue to help the station grow. For those of you out there that want to become official members of UP Nation, think about becoming a member. Lots of great things, lots of perks. And for those of you that become members, you will automatically be entered into a drawing to win an official Minnesota Vikings Winter Warriors jersey 2 weeks before the draft. Anyone that becomes a member of UP Nation will have the opportunity to possibly win a Winter Warriors jersey. There's a lot of talk that's been going on. You know, during the offseason, this is that transition period where you start talking about free agency, you talk about the draft, but you can only talk about that stuff so much. So Wednesdays on the UP, we're just going to take a break from that. And so we're going to start a new segment called What If Wednesdays. And it'll give us a chance to dream and ponder and reflect on things that could have possibly happened that may spark a debate among UP Nation members and others out there that may be watching Unconventional Playbook for the first time. It's kind of a day to have a little bit of fun. Not to take things too seriously, but to get people thinking a little bit about what ifs. So today is the first installment of What If Wednesday. So the topic that we have today is a good one. It's going to be interesting to see what everybody puts in the comments. But I think it's something that's really fun to think about, and I think there's going to be people that are going to fall on one side of the fence, and I think there's going to be other people that are going to fall on the other side of the fence. So I'm interested to see what the comments are all about. So my question is, what if JJ McCarthy had never gotten injured? Now, there's a lot of different angles you can look at this. And I think the main one is, would JJ McCarthy have been the starting quarterback to start the season? Would JJ McCarthy have been the starting quarterback at some point during the season? Or would it have been Sam Darnold's job the whole season like it was this year? Sam Darnold, man, had a fantastic year, 14-4, kind of came down to earth the last two games of the season, but you can't erase what he did in terms of the whole body of work. But I remember the excitement. I remember training camp and the stories that were coming out of training camp. I mean, it was a roller coaster ride for both quarterbacks, but the one thing that came out of training camp was how Sam Darnold had the long ball and JJ McCarthy was making plays and had the accuracy. And then there was a preseason game with JJ McCarthy where he showed out, man. And I know everybody is saying, well, you know, it was against second and third stringers, but you have to keep in mind, if you can bring that up, second and third stringers, and you also have to bring up that JJ McCarthy is a rookie. So essentially, he's going at people that are supposedly at his level. The whole narrative when KOC and Kwesi signed Sam Darnold was that he was going to be the bridge quarterback. Kwesi never really committed to that term in terms of a bridge quarterback, but I think the thought was that JJ wasn't going to be ready and they were going to bring in Sam Darnold. He was going to have the team for a year, and thus JJ McCarthy would be starting at quarterback for the 2025 season. But then JJ started showing what he can do in practice. And man, oh man, there was that preseason game where he showed out. He probably would have got the start the following week against the Cleveland Browns in that preseason game. That was the plan. But he came in the following week with a little bit of knee soreness. And long story short, history is what it is. He had to have a full repair of his meniscus. So I had to think, man, what if that would have happened? If that would not have happened, and he went out against the Cleveland Browns and balled out, there would have been a quarterback controversy. I can assume that. There would have been a big-time quarterback controversy. And who knows what would have happened. But I think JJ McCarthy was trending in the right direction to be the starter. We'll never know. We'll never know. We can only speculate that he was trending in the right direction to be the starter. If he would have balled out in the one preseason game that we saw and then balled out the next week, man, you would have think common sense. KOC would have had some thoughts. KOC's the quarterback whisperer. But even if that small sample size body of work from JJ McCarthy during those preseason games weren't enough, and Sam Darnold started as quarterback as he did this year, would Sam Darnold have been the same Sam Darnold? Because you would think, I mean, there's so many different angles to look at this stuff, man. You would think that there would have been a little bit more pressure on Sam Darnold because you got JJ in the wings. I don't think Sam Darnold was ever pressured by Nick Mullins. Nick Mullins was never going to take over this job barring Sam Darnold getting injured or getting hurt. He felt no pressure there. But I would have think if JJ McCarthy would have continued to play well in the preseason, if he didn't earn the starting spot, there would have been a tremendous amount of pressure there. And who knows how that would have affected Sam Darnold and his play. Doesn't that make sense, UP Nation? We all know what pressure does. It either busts pipes or it creates diamonds. And you can look at maybe the last two games were high-pressure games from Sam Darnold. Thus, his performance started to wane. So if you have a legitimate backup looking over your shoulder, who knows what Sam Darnold would have looked like? Without that pressure, we saw what Sam Darnold was. Got the Minnesota Vikings off to a great start. Maybe he doesn't do that if you have a healthy JJ McCarthy behind. But then, let's take a look at that Jacksonville game. Let's take a look at the second half of the first Green Bay Packer game. Let's take a look at the first Detroit Lions game and then the Thursday night game against the Los Angeles Rams. At any point in time, when Sam Darnold stubbed his toe, you have to ask yourself, would KOC have gone to a healthy JJ McCarthy? What if Wednesdays? This is what we're going to do on Wednesdays. We're going to talk about hypotheticals. I want to get your thoughts, UP Nation. Put them in the comments. Would KOC had made the move? Man, Sam Darnold had a great year. And you can flip this thing and look at JJ McCarthy. What if he would have won the starting quarterback job outright before the season even started? He was quarterback one on day one. What if JJ McCarthy was quarterback one on day one, opening up against the Giants? It is not a guarantee, no matter what you think about JJ McCarthy, that he would have had the Vikings at 14-3 for the season. Different brain, different style of quarterback, different plays. This thing is not etched in stone. It doesn't, when you put another quarterback under center, things are going to be completely different. Things may not have gone the way of what Sam Darnold did this season. So what would be the record of a J.J. McCarthy-led Minnesota Vikings team? Now, keep in mind, no matter how talented he is, he's still a rookie, so he probably would have made some mistakes that Sam Darnold wouldn't have made because Sam Darnold has years under his belt. He's a veteran quarterback, started in multiple different places, where this would have been J.J. McCarthy's time to cut his teeth, to carry a franchise. And who knows what that pressure would have done to J.J. McCarthy. You got to think about these things. This is what's juicy about What If Wednesday. Everything is a domino effect. You ever seen that movie, The Butterfly Effect, where one thing happens over here and it affects something over there? Man, it's just intriguing to really think about. I mean, it came this close to happening. And as great of a year as we had as Minnesota Viking fans, 14-4 for the year, making the playoffs when no one, including Vegas, thought that we would make the playoffs. If you put JJ McCarthy under center, what if JJ McCarthy did not tear his meniscus? I would be safe to say that I don't know if JJ McCarthy would have won the starting job at the start of the year. I don't know if he would have finished the year as the Minnesota Vikings quarterback. I don't know how that pressure would have affected Sam Darnold. But I think I'm safe at saying that if the Sam Darnold that we saw this year is up against the JJ McCarthy that we saw in the one preseason game and in training camp, and he was able to continue that and play consistently that way throughout the preseason, I think it's safe to say that JJ McCarthy would have got a shot at some point. I think it's safe to say that JJ McCarthy would have gotten his shot at some point. And when he got his shot, would it have been a successful shot or would it be a failure? Man, it's just intriguing to think about the comeback player of the year in some annals, as Sam Darnold was. He would have never gotten that opportunity. I remember doing the podcast with my guy, the guru of Minnesota sports, Mr. Patrick Buchanan. And Patrick said, maybe this was supposed to happen so things could happen well for Sam. And for all intents and purposes, Sam is about to get a big paycheck. Probably not as much as he would have gotten if he would have succeeded the last two games, but he sure as hell is going to get a raise for his body of work. And maybe that's what was supposed to happen for Mr. Sam Darnold. Everything happens for a reason. But what would the Minnesota Vikings season have been like if JJ McCarthy would have never gotten hurt and never torn his meniscus? Man, very intriguing to think about, UP Nation. It's very intriguing to think about. I do believe that JJ McCarthy would have got his shot. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Please thinking about becoming a member of UP Nation. This has been Unconventional Playbook. We will make sure to see you when we see you.